What's going on, everybody? And welcome to episode 198 of Cocktails in the War Room. I'm your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to my War Room, and thank you for joining me. We're here each and every Tuesday night at 8:30, and it's something we've been doing since March 14th of 2020, believe it or not. We did 80 shows in a row during the height of the pandemic. Then the show became a weekly show, and every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern, we get together to have a drink, talk about the week, find out what's going on, music, concerts, headlines, sports stories, and as always, my co-host, let me introduce you if you are new to the War Room. My co-host, the one and only Wednesday the Goth Pug, is joining me. That's where you can find her on Instagram. And Wednesday has been with me for the entire trip with the War Room, pretty much all 198 episodes. We've taken the show on the road a couple times, and every once in a while, I think she pitches a fit and doesn't want to hang out with us. But most of the time, hey, back up so everybody can see your sweet face. Sit, good girl. Most of the time, she's hanging out with us here in the War Room. And, as we've discussed in the past, she will come in promptly. She's been waiting for over a half an hour in here while I've been setting up everything. And she'll come in and hang out until the cookies are gone. And then she comes back to see if anybody sent her any mail. And then she takes off for the rest of the night. So we're lucky to have her. What's up, Jonathan? Hey, Kathy. Eric is here. William joining us. Becky. Elsa here in the War Room. Tracy. Jen is here. Travis, what's going on? Marcy is here, Jay, Carol, Lisa. If you're new to the War Room, you got to let us know in the comments that this is your first time. And you also got to let us know where you're watching from so we can properly welcome you to the War Room family. Carol said, in addition to losing my dog, my neighbor's dog died on Friday. It's so sad, Carol. This is the place where we go to talk about the happy things, but we also have had to talk about some pretty difficult stuff over the last couple of years. And I think anyone that has a pet has learned the importance of that companionship during the lockdown and kind of being at home. And I don't know what I would do without this little nugget of fury over here. Hey, no, back up. Back up. High five. Thank you. No, back up. Get down. Good girl. Mail call Wednesday soon enough, says Jen. Roger, what's going on? Welcome back to the War Room. Watching from Upton, says Jeff. Voorhees is here. What's going on? Been a little quiet. Good Lord. I also have a friend who lost a dog. Wow. Yeah, it's it's one of those things where it's like, I know people that have passed away that I've been less affected than when I've lost animals. It's just kind of the way that it is. Veronica says, little nugget. Yeah, exactly. And especially over the last couple of years, having that just love and loyalty and just the companionship with all of the isolation. Wednesday, I don't know what I would have done without her over the last couple of years, especially. But hey, back up. Can I have your paw? Thank you. Good girl. What's up, producer Mike? Random, but what the hell is up with Gomez's hair from the new Wednesday Netflix show? So a lot of people have been criticizing the casting because after Raul Julia played Gomez in the Addams Family movies, a lot of people imagine Gomez as this incredibly handsome, charismatic guy. Producer Mike, if you go back and look at the original drawings of the original Addams Family, the actual black and white drawings, Gomez married up, I'll say it that way. And the hair in the new Netflix series is exactly like the drawing from the original Addams Family, like concept drawings. And so they really did. Tim Burton, who is putting together this new Wednesday series on Netflix, which debuts next month, he wanted, obviously, so it's Tim Burton's vision, right? So it's definitely going to be dark. It's definitely going to be twisted. And I think he really did want to go back and pay homage to the original vision of the Addams Family because I think that Gomez got Morticia because of his charisma and not his good looks. Like, I think they are that pair that when you see them out, you're either like, that guy's got money or he's got a big one. And that is what's behind the casting of it, is that if you go back, Google the original Addams Family black and white drawings, you'll see what Gomez looked like originally. And I think it's very reminiscent of how Tim Burton cast it. Thunder and lightning here on the Cape, says Bish. Welcome to the War Room, Mike. Everybody says Luis Guzman is playing Gomez. That's right. And I think he's going to be really good. By the way, Catherine Zeta-Jones in the trailer for the upcoming film, or series, I mean, she looks great. And I think really is going to do a good job with this, because she is that statuesque, kind of stop people dead in their tracks, pardon the pun, beautiful woman. And so I think, and if you go back and look at the original drawing, she was very tall, very thin, really accentuated bone structure and all of that. So I'm really excited about the Addams Family, and the fact that today marks 69 days until Halloween. And we know we're getting the Addams Family series on Netflix, and we're also getting Rob Zombie's Munsters film coming up in September. And we're also getting the Ronnie James Dio documentary next month as well. So there's going to be a lot of stuff to watch, which I'm pretty excited about. Let's see. The Addams Family theme song has been my ringtone for over 20 years, says Trina. That is fantastic. I might steal that one. That's great. Someone is trying to get your attention, says Roger. Yeah, I know. Wednesday, she has been continuing with the, see what she does? That's her way of telling me she wants me to pet her. Watch her paw. Watch. Now she's not going to do it because I told you guys to watch. The wiener is not in here. We have the crinkly octopus in here tonight. We've got the ducking stingray in here tonight. Let's see. We got the crab in here tonight. The spotted dog. And the one of the rainbow unicorns. There were two. One has died. Long live the rainbow unicorn. But the second one is right there. So no wiener tonight. Let's see. You can have all the big stars you want. However, if the script sucks, then the show is going to suck. Yeah, exactly. And so I think that they brought in a brand new actress to play the lead role in Wednesday. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, I posted it up on my Facebook page. Christina Ricci is coming back as a different role because obviously she's a full-blown adult and can't play a child anymore. But she set the bar for Wednesday. Christina Ricci was so perfectly cast, and I really think the cast is going to do a great job. So I'm really excited about it. Trisha, we're going to get to that question about the MGM Music Hall. I have a lot of stuff to talk to you guys about. My trip to Chicago. Got to talk to you guys about the MGM. So let's just, let's get with it. Let's do the cocktail recipe first so that I can show you guys some pictures. So I got this one tonight. Oh, by the way, what am I drinking? So speaking of producer Mike, a little homage to the 1st Battalion, 182nd Infantry here with my glass. Whew. Okay, so I tried something new tonight, and I wanted to wait to sip it until I was with you guys. That's good. So I decided to try grapefruit seltzer and vodka tonight. And the grapefruit is tart, but I'm a huge grapefruit fan. And I didn't have any grapefruit, like the actual fruit in the house, or I would have garnished it because we're big on the garnishes now here on the show. But the grapefruit seltzer and vodka, I like grapefruit a lot. And that's pretty good. I like that. All right. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So I chose this one, and I'm really hoping, I didn't have a chance to go back and reference the book, but I was laughing the other day because someone mentioned limoncello. I was in Chicago, and we were having dinner, and somebody mentioned limoncello, and I started thinking back to the War Room episodes with the limoncello. And so then it was in my head tonight. So I picked this drink. It's called the Oriental. Did we do the Oriental on the show? You guys are going to have to let me know. But the Oriental, I believe it is served in a martini glass. And it is 1.5 ounces of gin. Ugh, I know it's got gin in it, but the rest of it sounded really good. It's got 0.5 ounce of limoncello in it. It also has passion fruit puree. Don't know why that was so hard for me to say. It's got 1 ounce of that, passion fruit puree, a dash of passion fruit syrup, a twist of lemon to garnish. It says shake the ingredients and then strain into a cocktail glass, add a twist of lemon, and serve. And lemon cucumber water, totally delicious, especially with a little lime, Steven. Fantastic. What's up, Mr. Fitz? He's jumping in. Walter, grab the grapefruits. No gin. I know, Eric. I'm sorry. Eric also says no dairy, no eggs. Oh my God, you drank frozen limoncello back in the early days of the War Room. Look, I still have a bottle of limoncello in the freezer. I always have a bottle of limoncello in my freezer. But I thought this sounded really good. Obviously, you guys know how much I love limoncello. But passion fruit, I thought the puree with the limoncello, and then I guess you could substitute vodka in this instead of gin, because we all know that I'm not a gin lover. The Hubs loves gin. I am not a gin lover. The thing is that I guess you'd have to garnish with passion fruit. Obviously, I think I thought about this, and it's kind of hard because limoncello doesn't freeze all the way, but I started thinking about all of these garnishes that we've been talking about with drinks here in the War Room. And I think one of the things that we can do a lot with like drink garnishes is custom ice cubes for these cocktails. Obviously, it's going to mean pre-planning, but if you're thinking about doing some of these like signature drinks, like at a party or a dinner or something, I think a drink like this, even though you're straining it into a cocktail glass, I think this would be perfect because if you see the color of it, it's the passion fruit makes it kind of red. So especially as we get into Halloween season, like we were talking about, I thought this would be the perfect thing to like freeze those skull ice cubes and float one of the little skull ice cubes in it because it's got that red orangey color. Oh my God, seriously, guys. Someone has got, go ahead, Wednesday. Are you playing with the stingray? She's tossing all her toys around and one of them just went flying onto my foot. What are you doing? Is this what you want? Are you trying to get attention? Because I ran out of cookies? I ran out? You want the stingray? Yeah, see? Oldie but goodie. Classic. She loves the stingray still. See, there you go. So I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to maybe garnish with some custom ice cubes, which would be really cool. The thing is, with something like limoncello, because what got me on the train of thought is you could make limoncello ice cubes, but the limoncello doesn't freeze all the way if it's good limoncello because it's got too much booze in it. Pug hole. If you know, you know. Read the dictionary. I made a button for it right on the front page of mistresscarrie.com. The limoncello made her legless. Tracy, yes, it did. Just drink straight whiskey and you'll be fine, says Eric. Star fruit as a garnish is so pretty. Kathy, that's a fantastic idea. I think that would be really cool in there. And also, you can always like get a fruit that's, you know, like a big piece of peach or a kiwi and use like a little cookie cutter and make star fruit, but not star fruit, star-shaped fruit that would float in there too, which I think would be really cool. Elsa wants to know how the garden is. I'm getting ready to pull some magnificent zucchinis out of there. So I'm going to have to make some fried zucchini soon. The tomatoes, I've had some good ones, but the drought, I'm really behind with the watering because we could only water on certain times of the week because of the drought. So my celery, planted celery for the first time this year, growing like crazy. The mint has been great. A lot of my herbs are growing great. Not a great cucumber year again this year. The tomatoes have been hit and miss. I don't have any summer squash, which I don't understand. The peas were good, but they're long gone. And my green beans got eaten by a rabbit. I found where they came in. Revenge will be mine. Let's see. Ooh, Michael Cole's giving out limoncello recipes. He said, infusing lemon peels into vodka, no distilling or secret ingredients required. Let the peels and the vodka mingle. Strain it, mix with sugar syrup, chilled, and just like that. Yeah, limoncello is not hard to make. It's just one of those things that it takes time. So I'm drinking watermelon seltzer. I'll hand my man card in tonight, says Bish. So I had this fantastic watermelon puree cocktail in Chicago, and it was really, really good. It was served almost like a cosmopolitan, but it had mint in it, and it had watermelon puree in it and vodka, and they shook the shit out of it in a cocktail glass and served it in a martini glass, kind of like the Oriental, and it was delicious. I may have been overserved in Chicago, but really, really good. Am I growing purple tomatoes? Yes, I am actually. The purple tomatoes don't grow to be big tomatoes, and they're bigger than cherry tomatoes. And they are gray for a long time, and then they turn like this weird purple color. But you have to remember that you plant them, because you can like wait and wait and wait for them to turn red, and then they fall off the vine and die because they're never going to turn red because they're purple tomatoes. I did not plant purple basil this year, but I did plant purple tomatoes, but I haven't picked any yet. Kayla says the squirrels are getting into my garden and eating my butternut squash, those little shits. The green beans I'm very upset about, because in the height of green bean production, I have normally been able to freeze about 5-gallon bags of green beans. And then I use them through the holidays and put them in my turkey soup for the wintertime. And right now I don't have any green beans to freeze because they ate the leaves on all the plants and then they died. So I'm a little bit bummed out about that. I did grow purple peppers. They are in there, but they're very small. And I'm starting to worry that I'm running out of summer for these things to grow big enough to be able to brag about them. So the garden's been very strange this year. My garden is toast due to the heat and no rain. I hear you, Jerry. It was very, very weird how things like my celery seem to like the heat, and other things just absolutely died. And obviously not being able to water it as much as I would have if there wasn't obviously a drought and a water ban. So we moved all of our garden up into one of the decks this year in containers because of all of the critters that are tunneling into and climbing over and around and down the garden fence. There's a lot of critters out there. And I did notice I was out talking to, who was I talking to? I was walking around the yard, and I think it might have been one of the neighbors. I was walking around the yard. There's a lot of acorns this year. And my Sicilian grandfather used to be able to predict the snowfall based on the acorn production in the trees. And he would always say, if you don't see any acorns on the ground, it's because the squirrels and the chipmunks are hoarding them because they know a bad winter is coming. And there are a ton of acorns on the ground. And so I'm going to say that we're not going to have a bad winter because there's too many acorns around. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's my prediction. Thomas says, my mom's cherry tomatoes are growing like crazy. Some of mine are, and some of the plants maybe didn't get enough water. And so some of my cherry tomato plants are dying, but some of the other ones are really starting to produce. And so I'm happy about that. Let's see. Eric says, has it stopped raining over there? I hear a lot of flash flooding. I haven't been outside in a while because I've been in here with you guys. So I don't know if it's still raining or not. Let's see. Eric says, I would love some ravioli and Italian sausages. Well, so would I, Eric. So are you making them? All right. So we got the cocktail recipe out of the way. Definitely custom ice cubes, I think, for this one, even though it's in a cocktail glass. And also, I love that star fruit slice idea floating on the top. I think that would be really cool. All right, let's talk a little bit about Chicago. So last week, I told you guys that I was headed to Chicago. I went to a radio convention called Morning Show Boot Camp. And basically, it's programmers and radio on-air hosts of all radio formats from around the country. It's a convention. There are tons of panels to help you be more creative, to help you with new social media trends, to help raise ratings, obviously, how to incorporate programming into more advertising. It's a little bit of everything. I was asked to be on this panel, which was a panel on designing, constructing, and working from home studios. And so it was a little bit of everyone. It was radio programmers, engineers, video production, podcast producers, and I represented kind of the on-air radio host perspective, and also someone that designed and constructed my own studio. And so the panel was great, answered a lot of questions, met a lot of fantastic people. One of the things about my previous job at AAF is that I didn't get to go to a lot of like the conventions. And in any industry, there are a lot of conventions, and most radio people move around a lot. I got to tuck this up here. It's driving me crazy. Most radio people move around a lot. And so, they go to one station for a few years, they go to another station, they move cities, they become friends with a lot of people. And so when they go to these conventions, they kind of know everyone. And because I was at the same station for so long and I never really went to any of these conventions, when I go to meet people, unless they worked at WAAF or worked at Entercom Boston or Odyssey Boston, I don't know them. I haven't been able to meet them. I recognize their names from the trade magazines, news stories, kind of all of that kind of stuff. But I don't know as many people in radio because I didn't move around a lot and I was in the same city for so long. I just turned her camera back on because she's just sitting there perfectly situated, exactly where I want her to sit, where I focus the camera. So, a couple things. One, I saw Jay Ferreira. So if you remember, right around like 2002, 2003, he was the night jock at WAAF. He used to be called, he was originally called Jay Raven when he was at CCC in Hartford. And then he went by Jay Ferreira at WAAF, and he goes by Raven again, and he's doing radio in New York now, and he's doing great. And we literally bumped into each other at the convention, which was really cool. And I met a lot of female on-air hosts and programmers alike. And what was crazy is that so many of them came up to me to tell me that they followed my career at WAAF and that they were inspired to become programmers or used me as an example when people said that women couldn't make it in rock radio. And I was in awe of the number of women in radio that came up to talk to me, because staying at one station for as many years as I did, you just assume like, okay, I'm just up here doing radio in Boston. Like nobody from around the country is paying any attention to that. And what was brought to my attention is that because I stayed in one place for so long, and because I made such a name for myself at WAAF, that there were a lot of women that came up in rock radio citing me as an example. And I just never thought about that. And so to have these conversations with women at the convention, it was kind of amazing. Jerry says, I used to listen to Man Cow in Chicago back in the day. So Jerry, I went on a tour of the Cumulus studios. Cumulus Broadcasting owns the Pike in Worcester. They also own Westwood One. And so I got to go and tour the Chicago studios, and I toured Mancow's studio, which is being redone and repurposed. So it's funny that you mentioned him. That's hilarious. I did not meet Delilah, Will. So it was pretty cool to be surrounded by all of these radio people. Hold on, I want to show you some more pictures, even though Wednesday's being super cute. So this was my panel. And one of the nights that we got to kind of go out on the town, there was a place not far from the hotel named Giordano's. Giordano's, that is kind of famous for Chicago deep dish pizza. Like really good, like locals go there. They don't take reservations. They don't have a cocktail license. They only serve beer and wine. And so a bunch of people from the convention went over there to have pizza. So I had dinner, and I was like surrounded by Bob Rivers, legend in radio, Bob and Zip Bob Rivers, John Garabedian from the Open House Party, legend in radio in Boston. I'm sitting at this table eating delicious deep dish pizza. I decided to get the veggie one, and it was just like packed with vegetables. It was just delicious. And that was a personal size one. It was huge. And I ate every single bite of that pizza. No apologies. It was so good. I also took a picture of this amazing chicken parm that I had. And the place that I went and had chicken parm, I got to say what's up to everybody at the Palm in Chicago. Made some friends at the bar. I got to tell you the story about what happened at the bar. But fantastic chicken parm, but it didn't come with pasta. It literally was a plate-sized piece of chicken parm, and it was glorious, but it didn't come with garlic bread. It didn't come with pasta. It didn't come with anything. It was just this giant piece of chicken parm. So I'm sitting at the bar at the Palm in Chicago, and I'm talking to some people at the bar. I was waiting for some radio people to come and meet me. And so I'm just chit-chatting with some locals that lived in the area, started making conversation as you do when you're traveling and you're at the bar. And all of a sudden, this girl, she was tiny, I don't know, maybe 5'1", 5'2", very thin, Asian. I felt this very cold hand on my bicep. And I felt like her fingernails, and I turned and she was like, "Can you help me?" And I was like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "What's the matter?" And she said, "I think I've been drugged." And I was like, oh my God. So I was like, "Who are you here with?" She, I guess she had not been in Chicago very long. She met a friend in some online group for like transplanted Asian girls. And she met this girl a couple times. They started to become friends. So they decided they would meet for dinner. She's having dinner at the Palm, which is a nice restaurant. And the girl that she met showed up with an older guy for dinner unexpectedly. And all of a sudden, this girl is at dinner. She starts losing feeling in her fingertips. Her hands got really cold, and then her hands clawed up like muscle cramp clawed, and she couldn't move her hands. She excused herself from the table, got up and grabbed me by the arm and said, "Please help me. I think I've been drugged." Now, I had made friends with the manager of the bar at the Palm because there were some other radio people that were at the bar, and they knew him because they were from Chicago. And they were like, "You got to meet Mistress Carrie from Boston. You guys would get along great," because he was like this Italian guy that works in Vegas a lot of the time. And he also manages the Palm in Chicago. And so he and I were talking and became friendly, bought me a drink, and was giving me suggestions, including Giordano's, about the pizza, about some places to go. And I started keeping a list because, you know, obviously you got to ask a local when you go someplace and, you know, where to go and eat. So I had become friendly with the manager. And so this woman's like, "I can't feel my hands. I'm scared." And I was like, holy shit. So I sit the girl down next to me at the bar and I call the manager over. And I was like, come here. And he was like, "You know, is she bothering you?" And I was like, "No, I think somebody drugged her. She just came up to me asking for help because I was a woman sitting alone at the bar. Everybody else that was around me at the bar was men. And it just so happened that because I was at the bar waiting for other people, the seats on either side of me were empty. And so she came up next to me and grabbed my arm." So I called the manager. The manager immediately sat down with her and started asking her questions. The people that she was having dinner with, they never found. And so they called the maitre d' over, like the host at the host stand that takes your reservations and seats you. They called 911, and within like 3 minutes, like all of the Chicago TV series were literally in the bar. Chicago Fire, Chicago PT, PD, like the EMTs, literally the bar inside the Palm. There was like 14 people. They had a stretcher for her. Their ambulance was outside. They ended up bringing her to the ambulance and taking her by ambulance to the hospital. We never found out what happened. The manager had asked to be notified if someone, like if she had tested positive for like date rape drugs, and the police had asked for surveillance camera footage of the restaurant, but we never found out what happened. And it was just the craziest story. I typed it all out. If you're a Backstage Pass member, this is one of the things about getting a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, because when I'm traveling, I keep like, you know, up-to-date travel blogs. And so I was texting all of this. I just couldn't believe it. It was the craziest thing. And, you know, I talked to the bartender after, because the people that worked at the Palm were amazing. And, you know, I was talking to the bartender, and I told him, you know, a lot of time when I go out because of work, people are always incredibly generous and want to buy drinks, and which is really sweet and totally appreciated. But I never take them unless I see the bartender make them, or unless it gets brought to me by someone that actually works at the establishment, because for this exact reason, being given drinks by people that are just around you, it's why like I always try to like finish my drink before I get up to go to the bathroom, or I ask the bartender to hold my drink behind the bar. I don't like the napkin trick on top of the glass and getting up to go to the bathroom. Guys don't have to worry about it as much as girls do, although it does happen that guys get drugged in their drinks as well. But just crazy. Eric says, Mistress Carrie, that answers my question. What was your question, Eric? Sorry. Oh, I hope the lady is okay. Wow. Yeah, we never found out what happened, but obviously, I mean, she got rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. The paramedics were there with her. There were like 4 cops that showed up. The whole front of the hotel where the Palm is was just where the valet is. It was just all sirens and lights. And the Palm restaurant is just all glass. So and the place was packed. And so all of a sudden there's just lights and sirens everywhere. And it was just insane. I've heard stories about this happening to people, but I had never really known anyone that got drugged like that. And I didn't know this girl. It's just that she just happened to come up. And at first, I'm not going to lie, like you guys are saying really nice things about glad you helped, you're a hero. I got to be honest, at first, my first instinct when she came up and grabbed my arm was to make sure I knew where my purse was, because I thought that it was like distract the girl on one side, grab the purse with the other. And so here's a travel tip for you that I always do when I travel by myself, especially. So you can get on an airplane with different forms of ID are accepted. Your driver's license, your passport. Also, one of the IDs that's accepted is military ID. When I travel, I always travel with what I call my emergency credit card as well, which is a credit card that I keep, that I never use except once or twice a year just to keep it active. And when I check into a hotel, if it has a safe, I lock up a form of ID that will get me on an airplane and this blank credit card that I know how much money is in it, so that I can get myself out of a jam if I am traveling and someone steals my purse. It's the first thing I do when I check into the hotel. Most of the time I do this when I'm by myself. If I'm with my husband or somebody else, obviously it's still a good idea to do it. But I really, because I travel a lot alone for work, I just think it's kind of it just shows the guys here in the war room that women think about this kind of stuff all the time. So, we live in a society, like, perfect example. I put up that I was going to Chicago on my Facebook page, and all of these people started commenting about how I should bring a gun with me because I'd never visit that shithole city. It's so dangerous, blah, 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 whatever. And then there were all of these women that were commenting, including myself, that were like, do you think that women are safer in Boston or Providence or Hartford or Des Moines or, Salt Lake City, maybe Salt Lake City, but like women are in danger everywhere we go. And Chicago has a reputation, obviously, because of the gun violence. But I talked to a lot of people about that when I was in Chicago, and they're like, it's really isolated to like a few small neighborhoods, but it gives the city obviously a bad reputation. I walked around downtown Chicago by myself at night along the Riverwalk. All the restaurants are open. There's outdoor patios everywhere. But as a woman that travels a lot by myself too, even when I'm traveling to some place that isn't Chicago dangerous, I have preparations when I travel. And so, so I wanted to give you guys that tip, especially the ladies, that because I have a military ID, because I'm married to an active duty military member, one of the other things that you can get if you're traveling domestically, it's not accepted everywhere, but it's accepted in Mexico and it's accepted in Canada. When you renew your passport, you can get a passport card, which looks like a driver's license. And you can only use it as ID in the United States and getting into Canada and Mexico, but it's a good thing to have. And I think when you get your passport, it's an extra like $25. And so when I travel, I always make sure that I have 2 forms of ID that'll get me on a plane and a credit card that is locked away in my hotel room in case someone steals my purse. So I thought this girl was part of a purse snatching ring when she grabbed my arm at first, and I immediately grabbed for my purse. And the Parm, like a lot of good bars and restaurants, underneath the bar, they had outlets to charge your cell phone and hooks. Guys, if you've ever been in a bar and you wondered why there's a hook under there, it's not for your coat, it's for our purses. And so I had my purse on the hook underneath me, like right by my legs. And it's the first thing I grabbed for. Obviously, she wasn't there to grab my purse. So just crazy story I wanted to share with you guys about Chicago. So this was the panel I was on. That was the delicious pizza. That was the yummy chicken parm. I wanted to show you some of the other stuff that I ate and did while I was in Chicago. So this picture right here is of the Riverwalk. And so it's the Chicago River that runs right through the city. And so all of the iconic bridges that go over it, you see a lot of the river tours that they have in Chicago as well. And there are sidewalks that they call the Riverwalk that boats do, ferries, a lot of bars and restaurants along the Riverwalk you can actually pull your yachts up to. And so this scene, the Riverwalk and the river at night, is unbelievable, the nightlife. This up here, is the view from my hotel room. There's the picture is kind of small, but there's a Ferris wheel out there, and that's the lake out there. Like, it looks like the ocean. The lake is so huge. So beautiful views, absolutely perfect weather. I loved Chicago. I've been there many times. Absolutely adore it. That's the broccolini, the Parmesan encrusted broccolini that I ate that I just couldn't handle. And I put a post up on my Instagram about these. These were truffle gnocchis that I had a couple of cocktails, had this for dinner, and I put the picture up on Instagram, and I was like, has food ever been so good you wanted to sit in it? I would have sat in these gnocchis. They were so friggin' delicious. Absolutely delicious. So good. Jerry says the Riverwalk is great. Yeah, it is. It's awesome. So the food, Chicago has a lot of great things. Has a history of the blues and fantastic places to go hear live music. Unbelievable food, just great restaurants, and the architecture is amazing. The city is really vibrant. It's like a 2-hour flight. If you stay downtown and you can just bar hop, there's so many great places to go and hang out. The nightlife is vibrant. I love Chicago. So if you're looking for a place that has very similar minded people to the Northeast, Chicago's a working man's town. Diehard sports fans. And so the people are kind of very blunt, kind of like a lot of people on the East Coast. And I highly recommend Chicago. And I just want to show you this one more time, because while I'm telling you all of these stories about Chicago, this is what's happening here in the War Room. Passed out. Just wants to be close, wants to hang out. This is how she is now, which I'm not going to complain, because the quality time her and I have been spending together over the last few weeks has been great. All right. I want to answer some other questions about last night. So last night I was invited to the invite-only press. They call it a soft opening kind of media night at the brand new MGM Music Hall at Fenway. And let me tell you what, guys, Lansdowne Street and Boston have been transformed by this venue, and they're not paying me to say nice things. We got a chance to go there last night. That's me and Mike Shue together. Guster, the band Guster, played on the stage. So here's some things about the brand new MGM Music Hall. This picture up here is taken from the end of Lansdowne Street. So you guys know Lansdowne Street that runs along Fenway Park. The traffic runs down Lansdowne Street from Kenmore Square. Lansdowne Street's a one-way. This is looking up Lansdowne Street against the traffic. So if you look in the picture, the House of Blues is on the right-hand side. Just to put in perspective where this brand new music venue is in Boston, the MGM Music Hall is at the end of Lansdowne Street. The address is actually 2 Lansdowne Street. And this unbelievable music hall was built where the back parking lot was, where the satellite trucks used to park for broadcasts of Red Sox games. And the Red Sox partnered with Live Nation to build, partnered with MGM in cooperation with Live Nation to build this 5,000 seat music hall. This picture down here is of the balconies. The main level where Mike Shue and I are standing, a massive dance floor. So you can tell they designed this venue to do more than host concerts. They can have college graduation ceremonies there. The balconies are huge, plenty of places to put seats on the floor, corporate events. They could have dance parties in this place. The stage is ginormous. I heard a rumor that on the back of the stage, there's an elevator that could put in. And if you go down, you end up in center field at Fenway on the field, which is insane. I did not see that, but it was great. They had amazing food. It was sponsored by Absolute. So it was open bar, vodka cocktails everywhere, out of control. They had pieces of prime rib with this amazing sauce. There were raw bars everywhere. So Mike Shue had to be removed from the raw bar. They had a guy just at a station that was grilling hot dog buns and making all the lobster rolls you could eat. Oysters on the half shell, all the shrimp cocktail you could literally stuff in your face. It was insane. They had cake pops and macarons and just all of these desserts. The drinks were great. But here are some things that I noticed about the venue. The bathrooms are huge, meaning, ladies, you shouldn't be waiting very long in line to go to the bathroom. The balconies have great sight lines. There are no obstructed view seats in this place. There is an outdoor patio on the second balcony, I believe. The floor sight lines, the stage is super wide and super deep, and the ceiling is unbelievably tall. So they're going to be able to bring in really awesome production in there, giant LED screens. You can tell, as much as I love the vibe in the Opera House, in the Orpheum, the old theaters with the ornate ceilings, the Palladium in Worcester, you can tell that this very modern venue was built for modern conveniences. The balconies are trimmed with LED trimmed lights all the way around that they can turn up and down, and they can change colors. You guys are going to love the MGM Music Hall. It officially opens on Saturday. Godsmack and Otherwise are the first concert at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway coming up this Saturday night. The proceeds from the show are being split between the Scars Foundation, which is Sully Ernest Foundation, and also the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. If you go to the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com, all the information is there with the link to buy tickets. There may still be a few tickets left available. So if you're looking for something to do Saturday night, this venue, you got to go and see it. There's a ton of shows that are coming there. Lamb of God's playing there. Judas Priest is playing there. I Prevail is playing there. Wait until you guys see this place. However, come up with a plan on where to park. I bring this up because this Saturday night, there's a show at the House of Blues. There's a baseball game, and Godsmack's playing at the MGM. And there's so much construction going on around that area that a lot of the parking spots have been taken up with construction vehicles, bike lanes. So my suggestion moving forward is if you're going to go to these shows, especially when it's warm outside. In the wintertime, not so much because there won't be baseball games, but during baseball season, especially because of the House of Blues and the MGM and all of the other bars and restaurants running up and down Lansdowne Street, come up with an idea of where you're going to park, because this is going to be nightmare fuel for you to try and find a place to park. I say that because I got a parking ticket last night. I cannot wait until Saturday to see this venue, says Denise. It holds 5,000 people. This place is big. So in comparison, the Orpheum, I believe, holds 2,700. The House of Blues, I think, holds 2,400. The Aganis holds, I think, 7,500, which I think is right. The Aganis, I think, can hold up to 10,000. The Songus and Lowell can hold, I think, around 7,500. I think the DCU Center in Worcester can hold like 14,500. I think the Garden can hold 17. These are rough numbers because it all depends on the stage configuration and how far out the stage goes. So how much of the balconies they have to block off, because you'd kind of be behind the stage. And then I think maximum capacity of the Xfinity Center in Mansfield is somewhere around 25, 26,000 when the lawn is completely sold out. So I bring it up because the MGM Music Hall kind of has a great sweet spot for audience size. A show that might be too big for the House of Blues, but not big enough for the Aganis Arena. Perfect for the MGM Music Hall, and it really is a beautiful venue. Parking at the Tasty Burger is like $1,000. Yeah, Will, I'm telling you, like, traffic is going to be an issue and parking is going to be an issue getting there. So my suggestion is to find a satellite place to park and either Uber in or take the T, carpooling. The parking lot that's over by Gate A of Fenway is big, like the parking lot that's right off the commuter rail. So that's another thing that you can do is the commuter rail, the Worcester line of the commuter rail stops like across the street from Fenway Park. So going to concerts there, I believe curfew is the same at the MGM as it is at any other music venue, meaning 11 o'clock. So the commuter rail, if you can go along the Worcester line of the commuter rail, might be a great option for you guys because parking is going to get tight there. Street parking by BU on Com Ave is free on the weekends. Yeah, but if there's a baseball game and a couple of concerts, people will take those spots for a mile and a half down Com Ave and walk. So you can't always count on that. Green Line, obviously, if you can try to park over by the Garden or just find a different place to park. We found a prepay parking lot for Motley Crue. Best idea that we ever had, says Eric. So I'm just saying that if you get the trifecta like we're going to get on Saturday of a show at the MGM, a show at the House of Blues, and a baseball game, be prepared for that. And also, same thing that happens at the Garden. If you take an Uber, getting an Uber or a taxi after the shows, after the baseball games can be difficult as well. So just keep that in mind, especially when you're selecting footwear, ladies, if you got to hoof it a little bit. So no orange and green line commuter rail. Yeah. Maybe take an Uber, but getting an Uber out of there because so many people are calling Ubers that you might have to walk a few blocks to get away from Lansdowne Street to be able to get over onto Boylston or something else. And, you know, if you don't mind the walk, another idea would be it's a little bit far, but to park over on Boylston Street, like by the Prudential Mall. You're going to walk blocks, but it might save you if you park over like, you know, towards the finish line of the marathon, by all of the bars on Boylston Street, over by the Prudential Mall. There's a lot of garages there with all the hotels. You may want to park there, wear shoes that are a little bit more comfortable and hoof it because you'll probably get to your car faster than you could get an Uber out of there. That would be my suggestion. grapefruit seltzer is good. All right, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get through it. We got to recap last week's podcast episode, which was something we haven't done in a while, but 2 different interviews with 2 different people on the same episode. And so it included Zoltan Bathory from Five Finger Death Punch to start, and then Jacoby Shaddix from Papa Roach was the second part of the episode. Both of these guys, along with the rest of Five Finger Death Punch, Tommy Lee from Motley Crue, are all starring in The Retaliators, which debuts in theaters on September 14th. The soundtrack, all rock bands. The cast is a lot of rock bands. And so I thought it would be a fun episode to put Retaliators content together. I didn't get Zoltan very long because the new Five Finger Death Punch album, Afterlife, is getting ready to come out, and he was doing a lot of press. So I only got him for a little while. And then Jacoby is out on the Rockzilla tour. And so we had a great conversation. Jacoby and I talked about the movie. We talked about his kids and being in college. We talked about Tommy Lee's penis. We talked about a lot of stuff, he being like the huge Motley Crue fan that he is. We talked about Def Leppard scented candles. If you're a Papa Roach fan, you're going to love this episode if you haven't heard it yet. If you're a Five Finger Death Punch fan, Zoltan Bathory and I have known each other since he was in the band UPO. And, you know, he was telling me about putting Five Finger Death Punch together long before the band was together. So he and I are very old friends. And I just thought this was a really fun episode. I love both of these guys. Good night, Trina. She's heading to bed. She said she needs a rest. So good night. This episode is great. So if you haven't heard it yet, episode 115 of the Mistress Carrie podcast features Zoltan Bathory from Five Finger Death Punch and Jacoby Shaddix from Papa Roach. And this week's guest, like I said, I always wanted to be able to keep you guys up to date and in touch with artists that I already know you love. But I also want to be able to introduce you guys to artists that you may not have heard of yet. And that's the case this week. Episode 116 of the Mistress Carrie podcast features Giovanni Yanez. He is the lead singer and frontman, guitar player from the band Giovanni and the Hired Guns. Now, Giovanni and the Hired Guns just had their first #1 rock song. The song is called Ramon Ayala. They have an album called Tejano Punk Boys that's getting ready to come out. They're out of Texas, and it is an amazing combination of late 90s, early 2000s, kind of new metal, kind of Texas, guitar-driven, Stevie Ray Vaughan, ZZ Top-inspired Texas rock and roll, and also Tejano music and a lot of Mexican music, because these guys all grew up in Mexican families, but in the United States. And so Giovanni tells me this great story about the music, the Tejano music that his mom listened to on the radio at home, and that he had young uncles, and his young uncles introduced him to Korn and the Deftones and System of a Down. And that is kind of the combination that led to Giovanni and the Hired Guns. They're another one of these bands like Dirty Honey that are releasing their music independently through a management deal. And this is one of those bands that I really want to be able to turn you guys on to by exposing them. These are bands you would have heard of if WAF were still on the air. And WAF isn't on the air anymore. And so there really isn't a venue or an outlet for these artists to find an audience in the Northeast or anywhere else if they don't have a rock station. A lot of major cities in the United States, they either have a station that is super alternative to the point where it's almost a pop station, but they play new rock music, but more on the alternative side. So they would play stuff like New Jack White, the Black Keys, Bastille, stuff like that. But if you're not lucky enough to have a more mainstream rock station or what's called an active rock station, which is what WAF was, that are going to play new rock songs from artists like Korn and Godsmack and Disturbed and new Metallica and the Foo Fighters and Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then take their chance on artists like Dirty Honey, Lilith Czar, The Pretty Reckless, Hailstorm, Shinedown, Giovanni and the Hired Guns. It's up to podcasts like mine and communities like this to be able to give these artists a shot. So when you listen to the corresponding from this week's episode, you're going to hear a lot of new metal stuff. There's a lot of Deftones, a lot of Korn, a lot of Limp Bizkit, a lot of System of a Down, who's Giovanni's favorite band of all time. But there's also some accordion-driven Tejano music. And it's a little bit of everything in there. Giovanni said that he was inspired to kind of start playing guitar because he got exposed to AC/DC Back in Black. And so he lists a lot of those other influences. And so this is the next generation of rock music, right? We talked about artists like Aaron Jones in this interview. We talked about all of the great rock that's coming out from female-fronted bands, new bands like Plush, Lilith Czar, The Pretty Reckless, Hailstorm, that's been around for a while, but still, like, these new bands, these up-and-coming bands are taking inspiration from everywhere and changing it and really doing new, exciting things with rock music. And I think this is a band you guys are going to really be able to get in on the ground floor of, and I think you're really going to like them. The way that Jelly Roll kind of straddles the country line with a lot of his stuff, these guys straddle a lot of that, like, Texas blues-based guitar stuff, like the ZZ Tops and the Stevie Ray Vaughns. There's a lot of that in these songs as well. I think you guys... what's up, Betty? I think you guys are going to be really excited about a lot of the Giovanni and the Hired Guns music that's in this playlist as well. So I am super excited to hear what you guys think about this week's episode. Episode 116 featuring Giovanni Yanez of Giovanni and the Hired Guns goes live at midnight tonight. And as always, as always, the sit rep is there for you as well. So if you listen to the full length episodes, you like what you're hearing on the Mistress Carrie podcast, then you are also going to get the sit rep every Monday through Friday. You get the sit rep with all of your rock news, music headlines, and industry info. And this week, big news in the sit rep is that Alter Bridge, Mammoth WVH, and Red are coming to another new venue in Boston. It's in Allston, technically, but Boston, right on Guest Street, literally across the street from the old WAF studios. It's a club called Roadrunner. And Alter Bridge announced their tour yesterday. Alter Bridge, Mammoth WVH, which is Wolfgang Van Halen's band, and Red are coming to Roadrunner on February 8th of 2023. The tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. And you can get all of the details because the show link and everything you need is up on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. So check out the sit rep. It's good for all of that kind of stuff. The War Room, we're only together once a week for me to go over all the music headlines and all the stories, but a lot of this kind of info is always in the sit rep. So subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast. You get the weekly episodes on Wednesdays. You get the sit rep every weekday. I met a lot of people at Morning Show Boot Camp in Chicago, a lot of morning radio people that say that because I put the sit rep up so early in the morning, that they listen to the sit rep on their way into the studio so that they get caught up with all of the news stories that happen, especially later on at night, the night before, because they've been sleeping, because they go to bed early, because they do morning radio. Mike Shue told me that he listens to the sit rep on his way into the studio at the Pike because he knows he's going to find out about stuff that may have happened later on at night while he was in bed. So check out the sit rep if you haven't already. Subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast if you haven't already. And if you're trying to find it, there are plenty of places for you to track down the Mistress Carrie podcast. This is just some of the places. If you listen to podcasts and you download podcast apps, you can find the podcast. Just search the Mistress Carrie podcast. Look for that artwork. You know you're in the right place. But all the big ones, Apple, Google, Spotify, Odyssey, iHeart, Stitcher, Pandora, Deezer, Overcast, TuneIn, Player FM, they're all there. And if you don't listen to podcasts on podcast apps, you can listen at mistresscarrie.com. And very shortly, it's going to be a lot easier to listen on your smart speakers as well. More on that later. So also want to let you guys know that the international audiences are growing. But as of right now, the top 5 countries, after the top 5, the countries are shifting a lot. And there's definitely momentum where I'm expecting these top 5 countries to change. But the United States, the number 1 listener of the podcast, followed by Canada, the UK, Russia, and Singapore at number 5. but the rest of the countries are definitely shuffling in the top 10. And so we're going to get some changes coming soon. All right, the Trinity of Terror tour with Ice Nine Kills, Motionless in White, and Black Veil Brides, along with Atreyu on this leg of the tour, is going to be, speaking of the Songus, November 17th. Those tickets are already on sale. Robert Plant, who just turned 74 last week, along with Alison Krauss, are going to be at the Leaderbank Pavilion in Boston on September 9th and at Foxwoods on September 10th. And they have worked, I think, 3 Led Zeppelin songs into their set. Battle of Evermore, When the Levee Breaks, and Rock and Roll, I think they've worked into the set, which is awesome. The Stevie Nicks tour got announced. It's at the Xfinity Center September 19th. Those tickets are on sale now. The Red Hot Chili Peppers released another new song, and it's off of their upcoming album, Return to the Dream Canteen, which comes out on October 14th. Actually, drummer Chet Smith gave an interview recently because not only is John Frusciante back in the band, but this is the first time in a decade that they're working with super producer Rick Rubin. And Chad Smith said that after the writing sessions for what are now going to be 2 separate albums, that Rick Rubin was actually brought to tears by the fact that he's working with the Red Hot Chili Peppers again. He obviously produced like Blood Sugar Sex Magic and a lot of the really successful albums for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So if you haven't listened to Unlimited Love yet, that's available everywhere. The new Red Hot Chili Peppers album is coming out in October. Shinedown Jelly Roll and John Harvey are going to be at the Xfinity Center coming up on September 13th. Those tickets are on sale right now. The show's coming up fast. It is a weeknight, but you're not going to want to miss this show. These guys all get along so well, and Shinedown has really made it a point that they really want to help break Jelly Roll. And so they're taking Jelly Roll on this tour. Jelly Roll is on fire right now, not only on the country chart, but on the rock charts as well. He's been working on new music. He's getting ready to release another hip hop album, which he's saying might be his last. And this is going to be an unbelievable show. There are still tickets available. As of right now, I have not been able to track down any tickets to give away, but I have requested some. So there is a possibility that for Backstage Pass holders, I might be getting some tickets for you guys. And depending on how many I get, I also might be able to make some available here in the War Room. But if you really want to know you're going to go to the show, definitely buy tickets and go because it's coming up fast, September 13th. Alice in Chains, Breaking Benjamin, and Bush. This is the last night of their tour. It's happening October 8th. At the Xfinity Center. And if you listen this week to 100 FM The Pike, all this week we're giving out tickets to the show. It's the last week of the Pike Concert Season Pass, and we have keywords to give to be able to give these tickets away every day this week. So make sure you're listening. Mike Shue's got keywords in the morning. Chuck Perks has got them. I got them every afternoon. But you can go and see Alice in Chains, Breaking Benjamin, and Bush October 8th. In this moment, nothing more. The Cherry Bombs and Sleep Token are going to be at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway on September 17th. And one of the things that they had at the MGM opening last night was they had an acrobat and a contortionist that was flying on silks. And it was unbelievable because they could get her up so high off the stage because the ceilings are so high. And while I was there last night, I thought about the Cherry Bombs because they have people that do acrobatics, silk work, and the Cherry Bombs on this giant stage. It's going to be an unbelievable show. That show is happening September 17th. Those tickets are on sale now. Aaron Lewis is going to be at Indian Ranch. September is going to be a crazy month for concerts. Prepare yourself. Keep your eyes on the concert page or the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com because there's like shows almost every night. This is the gauntlet. This is what we've been waiting for. There are just so many shows. Stained is going to be out at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield on September 11th. Joe Satriani coming to the Orpheum on November 5th. Five Finger Death Punch, Megadeth, The Who, and Fire from the Gods are going to be at the Xfinity Center on September 18th. Those tickets are on sale right now as well. AWOL Nation at the House of Blues on October 23rd. Slipknot, their new album comes out at the end of September, The End So Far. You guys got to check out the new single. It's called Yen. And Clown directed the new video for it. And it's crazy. Really, really good. But they just released the video for the song Yen this week. Let's see. Michelle says Keith and her wedding anniversary, 27 years, is coming up this Thursday. So cheers to you guys. That's incredible, Michelle. Let's see. Extremer at Indian Ranch on September 2nd, coming up fast. Hampton Beach on September 3rd, and then Extreme are opening for Aerosmith on September 8th. Red Hot Chili Peppers are just a couple days later on September 10th. Judas Priest and Queensryche at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway. It's going to be unreal. Rob Halford's going to have so much room for his motorcycle on stage. Those tickets are on sale right now as well. And let me see. There's a bunch of other shows I wanted to tell you guys about. That's right. Oh, Ghost, Mastodon, and Spirit Box at the Dunkin' Donuts Center coming up on September 12th. I may have some tickets to give away for that. So Backstage pass holders, I believe you already have access to those tickets, but I might have some to give away here in the War Room. The Tattoo the Earth Festival is happening this Saturday night, so you're going to have to decide, do I want to go see Black Label Society and Anthrax, or do I want to go and see Godsmack? Mike Shue and I had to split up responsibility because we got to be at both. So Mike Shue's going to be at the Tattoo the Earth show. I'm going to be at the Godsmack show because the guys asked me to come and introduce the band. And I was asked by the 617 Rocks Foundation, who is the organization behind the show. They are going to start an annual charity event. This is the first one, and so they asked me to be part of it. So it sucks that I'm going to miss Anthrax and Black Label Society in Worcester. I'm super bummed out about it, but I'm going to be at Godsmack. Mike Shue's going to be at Tattoo the Earth on Saturday. Jeff Beck is going to be at the MGM Music Hall coming up on October 6th. Tickets, that's another typo. Shit, I thought I got rid of that one. Cheers. Typos mean drink. Those tickets are already on sale. Again, it's going to be a great show at the MGM. The new Clutch album called Slaughter Beach is going to be out on September 16th. There are a lot of amazing new albums coming out, and I got them all listed for you. We mentioned Lamb of God and Kill Switch Engage at the MGM on September 21st. The Godsmack show is coming up this weekend. It's going to be a blast. It's the first concert ever. It's not very often you can say you were at the first concert at a venue, and you'll be able to say that if you're at the MGM on Saturday. Evanescence and Korn are this Friday night. This Friday night at the Xfinity Center. This already happened. Styx REO Speedwagon. That's another typo. Shit. There's been a lot going on coming back from Chicago. Speaking of ticket giveaways, I got tickets that I can give away tonight here in the War Room, but you got to act fast because there are a limited amount of tickets. If you want to see Korn and Evanescence at the Xfinity Center coming up this Friday, August 26th, then go to mistresscarrie.com, click the Message the Studio button right on the front page, and send me a message with the word Korn in the subject line. Make sure I have your full name. Make sure I have your email address. Put Korn in the subject line, and I am going to send out Korn and Evanescence tickets to as many people as I can, starting with the first one. This is first come, first serve. So if you're sticking around the War Room this late in the show, you deserve to get rewarded with some tickets. So if you want to go see Korn and Evanescence this Friday night at Xfinity, go to mistresscarrie.com, click the Message the Studio button, put Korn in the subject, give me your email address and your full name, and I will send you tickets later on tonight when the show is over. New releases this week, coming up on Friday, the same night as the Evanescence and Korn show. Bastille are releasing their new album, Give Me the Future, Dreams of the Past. Blondie is releasing this new box set that is just got tons of content in it, called Against the Odds, 1974 to 1982. Dirty Heads are releasing their new album on Friday called Midnight Control. Machine Head has a new album coming out called Of Kingdom and Crown. And Muse are releasing what they're saying is their heaviest album ever. It's called Will of the People, and it comes out this Friday. I want to remind you guys that another show that's coming up in September is the Rock Fest at Indian Ranch with another huge lineup of amazing tribute bands. The headliners draw the line, the Aerosmith tribute band, but there's the Foreigner tribute, there's the Skynyrd tribute, there's the Pat Benatar tribute and the Bad Company tribute. This is happening at Indian Ranch. This is a day show. Music starts at noon at Indian Ranch in Webster, and that is up on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. All right, mail call. Got a couple things I want to show you guys. First of all, I want to show you the shirt I got at the MGM last night at the grand opening. they did something really cool. They had t-shirt guys there that were live silk screening commemorative shirts from the grand opening of MGM. And you could choose not the color of the shirt, but you could choose the logo. They had a bunch of different ones that were all referencing Boston, referencing Fenway Park. I liked this logo, which I thought was cool. It's not referencing Boston other than to say it's the MGM Music Hall at Fenway, but I liked it because of the guitar pick. So one of the other things that I got, which they were giving out when you left the opening last night, was they gave out grand opening posters. And it's got Guster, who was the artist that played like the soft opening last night. You can see, you know, the references of Fenway Park and where it is in relation to Lansdowne Street. So I thought the poster was super cool. So I grabbed it on the way out last night. So I wanted to show you guys that. And then this I brought back from the convention, which I just thought was hilarious because it's always been the joke. You know, you have a face for radio. So there were people at the radio convention that were giving out COVID masks. And I thought that these were great. How funny is that? Hilarious. So I wanted to show you guys that. And then this week, I got this card. It says, good couples go together like peanut butter and jelly. And on the inside, it says, okay, so maybe the peanut butter sticks to the roof of your mouth and the jelly gets all over the place. And the whole thing is just one sticky, chaotic mess. But hey, that's the beauty of marriage. And it's from Tim and Melissa. It says, happy second anniversary, wishing you both a happy day and many more. Because believe it or not, my second wedding anniversary is coming up on the 29th. Bonkers, which is Monday. So before I see you guys next week in the War Room, I'm going to celebrate my second wedding anniversary. So thank you very much for remembering our wedding anniversary. And thank you for the card. It definitely was very sweet and unexpected. So sorry. Look at her. I can't. She's been sitting here the whole time. The whole time. She's just sitting there. Chin on her toy. Every once in a while, I just reach over and give her a little belly rub. But the pug cam is definitely getting a lot of use now that Little Miss Wednesday is spending a lot more time here in the War Room. Thank you guys for all the anniversary love. I appreciate that. I know it's been 2 years already. Can you believe that? I know, poor Wednesday. She's okay. She's been happy. She's been playing a lot of play dates with Zero. She's been having a lot of company. There's been a lot of family here. So she's been doing a lot of running around now that it's not 100 degrees outside. So, but she just definitely, you know, is by my side a lot more than she has been because she is used to spending a lot more time with Grammy. And because Grammy's not here, she's spending a lot more time with Mummy now, which just look at her. Nugget. All right. Want to remind you guys just about the tank tops. We're getting close to the end of the summer, and so you got to get them while they last. There may be a Labor Day weekend sale coming up, but I just want to remind you guys that as we get into winter, you know, the tank tops are not going to be something we're going to restock. I want to be able to focus on some new cold weather things, and so that's coming up. All right, we got to get into some birthdays because we got a lot of birthdays to celebrate. Our very own Mark Bish celebrating his birthday in here. So happy birthday, Bish. Happy unbirthday to Keith. You guys share your birthday with some pretty big names. Keith Moon from The Who, Rick Springfield, Dean DeLeo from Stone Temple Pilots, Julian Casablancas from The Strokes, and Shifty Shellshock from Crazy Town. Remember those guys, Crazy Town? They were all born on this date. So Bish, you share your birthday with a lot of pretty badass rock royalties. Soap opera stars, grunge stars, alt rock stars, legendary drunk drummers. I mean, party animal drummers. Keith Moon, one of the craziest drummers of all time. If you go back and listen to the Alice Cooper episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast, which I think is like episode 42, something like that. He talks a lot about Keith Moon in that episode. Okay. Somebody asked about Mom. Just a quick update on Mom before we get ready to end the show. Mom has been in the hospital since I saw you guys last. We had been recommended. So basically what happened was Mom had to be evaluated at the hospital to make sure all of her medications were right. And then based on that evaluation with doctors, social workers, Alzheimer's experts, they were able to make some recommendations and referrals to some recommended facilities that would be the best fit for Mom, being as young as she is, as physically fit as she is. My sister and I, we talked a lot about this and about the fact that Mom's cognitive ability has been declining at such a rapid rate, literally day to day. Even since she's been in the hospital, it's gotten worse. And whether or not we were going to be able to bring her home and be able to give her the level of care that she requires now. And we were given a unique opportunity, hiccups. We were given a unique opportunity to get her into an Alzheimer's program, a place that specializes in treating Alzheimer's and dementia patients only, and a place that welcomed the fact that she was as young and active as she is. And we had a meeting with the administrators. We toured the facility, and it really did seem like this was going to be the best place for Mom to be able to have the highest quality of life. So we had to make the hard decision to accept the place there because openings don't come up very often, and it was a rare opportunity for us to be able to get her in where she is. So we made the decision as a family to accept the room where she is, and she moved in just before the weekend, and she is so happy. I was there yesterday before I went to the MGM, and she is so happy. She thinks she works there as a nurse. There are other nurses there that also have Alzheimer's and dementia that think they work there. And the staff allows all of that to take place. And Mom is, I don't want to say thriving because that would insinuate she's recovering, which she can't recover, but she is happy. She has never once asked, why can't she go home? She doesn't remember where home is at this point. That's how fast she's progressed. And it's been strange not having her in the house these last few weeks. It's been really strange meeting the people that are going to be the daily caretakers for the foreseeable future of your mom. But we had to sit down and ask ourselves the question, is Mom safer there or here? Is Mom happier there or here? Is Mom getting better care there or here? And when you don't make it about yourself and you make it about your loved one, it was hard to say other people can take better care of her than I can. And that's what the decision we made. And so she, right now, the place is a little bit of a drive, so she's not as close to us as we would like. But as her illness progresses, as she ages and slows down, we do have the opportunity to transfer her. But the way that they take care of her with as active, the programs that they have, the activities that they have, she is in the best place that she could be. She's exhausted at the end of every day because they've got her doing all of these amazing things. And she's in the state that she's in, exactly, Melissa, and she's doing really well. And so that's kind of the mom update. It's been hard to make the decision, but we had to make it. And so far, we are incredibly happy that we made the decision we made. And so that's kind of the mom update there. Want to remind you guys about the Mistress Carrie backstage passes, the traveling. You get a lot of travel updates. You hear the stories before anybody else. You can submit, questions and suggestions while I'm on the road. And, I'm able to message a lot easier back to people. Backstage Pass, you get the exclusive live streams, which we're going to have coming up very soon. So if you got a Backstage Pass, I got to set a date for that. The only thing has been that there are so many shows this weekend that I wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to set a date and time and be able to stick to it. So it's probably going to happen on Sunday. But I'll let you guys know probably by tomorrow. You can submit podcast interview questions. You get the travel blog updates, the early access to events. You get exclusive concert ticket giveaways. So right now, if you have a Backstage Pass, you have access to the Lamb of God Killswitch Engage tickets, the Alice in Chains Breaking Benjamin Bush tickets, tickets to see I Prevail. You had early access to the Evanescence and Korn tickets, which now people here in the War Room have access to. So if you go on to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie, you can get your Backstage Pass, or you can just click the link at mistresscarrie.com. And as always, want to remind you guys that you can also find me online at a bunch of different places: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Cameo. Cameo is also starting something new. I haven't tried it yet. I have to research it a little bit, where Cameo is not only doing custom videos, but Cameo is also going to give you the opportunity to schedule a live chat with people through Cameo. And so it's something where you book it so that, say you were at someone's birthday party, rather than buying a custom Cameo video from them, you can actually say at 7:30 on this night, for however many minutes or whatever, you can surprise the person with an actual live chat through the app with the person you signed up for Cameo for. So that is coming, but I haven't read up on it yet, and I don't think they've fully rolled it out yet, but it's definitely coming, which I thought was really cool. So I wanted to point that out if you've never used Cameo before. What did I do? Oh my God, sorry guys. Lou says, Carrie, thank you for sharing the information with us. I'm dealing with the same issues with my dad. He's happier in Greece. And when I talk to him, he says that he's home. Yeah, the reason why I'm sharing this stuff with you guys is because we're all going to be going through this with somebody we love. And so I want to be able to be as transparent as I can while still protecting, obviously, my mom and her privacy. But to be able to let you guys know that these decisions, there's no easy way to do it. There's, every family is different. We had a lot of meetings with the place where my mom is, and they were like, you have no idea how refreshing it is that the siblings agree, and told us horror stories about families that are trying to place their parents, trying to take care of their parents, and the siblings don't agree on anything. And what a nightmare it is for the parents, and what a nightmare it is with the facilities, the social workers, the doctors. And so for my sister and I to be able to agree on this kind of stuff and go through it all together is super important. So Melissa says, bye, Felicia. War Drums Encore, says Michael. I know, leaving already, Jonathan. I apologize. I hit the wrong button. So that's kind of the update. That's everything that's going on. I know we ran a little bit late tonight, but there was a lot to talk to you guys about. The ticket giveaways, if you want the Evanescence and Korn tickets, you better click the message to the studio button right now. Put Korn in the subject line. Give me your name and email address, and I'll give away as many tickets as I can. And then obviously with all the Chicago stories and the photos and all the stories from the MGM last night, there was a lot to go over tonight. So don't forget, episode 116 of the podcast goes live at midnight tonight, featuring Giovanni Yanez from Giovanni and the Hired Guns. This is episode 198 of Cocktails in the War Room. Episode 200 is just 2 weeks away. I'm working on something special. We're not going to be able to take the show out on the road for episode 200, but I am working on a guest or two. So I'm working on that, and I'll let you guys know more coming up next week. All right, now I'm going to hit the for real. Good night, guys. I'll see you guys next week.